Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, talking fishing. If it's facts about fishing that you want to know, then tune in, folks, cause this is the show. We'll show you all the right bait to use, so sit right back, you got nothing to lose. Doesn't really matter if it's trout or carp, flathead, marlin or a gummy shark. Listen to the guys and you can't go wrong. They'll be talking about fishing till the cows come home. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And welcome everyone to Talking Fishing, a big show coming your way tonight. It's a special show with a special guest. We've also got Catch of the Week, Product of the Week, a little something to light up your life tonight. Mailbag, hotspots, plenty of fisheries news, and the man who's going to deliver it, Travis Dowling. I tell you what, Travis, you're going to tell us all the news tonight.
Like, I'm really looking forward to it.
We have seriously got a list of topics for you tonight.
Lots happening in fishing.
For those that don't know, Travis, the CEO of the Victorian Fisheries Authority. Adam, what a week it's been of wind, hail, snow on the Dandenong, snow everywhere.
It can only get better because it can't get too much worse. So the forecast is looking pretty good for the weekend.
We've got some cracking fish.
There will be some cracking fish.
Weather coming out. There's a bit of a tongue twister. And Trelly, up your way.
Yep.
Now there was a lot of rain on the weekend. Did you get all that up at Shepparton, up in the the catchments?
Got a little bit, yeah. Actually went over the Goulburn as I came down today, and it's running a little bit high, a little bit dirty.
Yeah.
But that's okay. So yeah. But as far as fishing reports, I've got more fishing reports from the local fish shop from fishermen at the moment. But anyway, all good.
I was amazed on the weekend. I actually went up to Camperdown on the weekend, or across to Camperdown, and the home of Lake Bull and Merry and Purrumbete.
Chinook salmon.
And I went out for a bit of a look at around the place on Saturday, and I was amazed. There was horizontal rain, blowing 40 knots, and there was 8 boats on board.
Still heaps of fishermen. Yeah, absolutely.
And it gets rough on there as well.
I did that drive. I don't know if you know that the north bank, and they're yelling at you to introduce you.
Yeah, we've already done that.
Right, yeah,
Travis,
Can
I just introduce you to the people at home? This is Travis Dowling, over there now.
Yep, hi.
The CEO of the Victorian Fisheries Authority, because I did it out of order and I yelled it in my ear to do it correctly. But anyway, welcome, Travis.
Yeah, but Bullamero was looking great.
A metre waves.
There's boats out there.
That whole north access is really good. You get the road down there and that. But there was metre waves hitting that northern shore.
But there's 20-pound Chinooks out there. There's massive brown trout.
I reckon the fishing club had a comp on, and so they had a caravan set up. Oh, drop me pen. Caravan set up, a tent, a bonfire going. Probably dobbing them in here to the authorities. But 8 boats on the lake. In horrendous conditions.
That's keen.
Is the boat ramp working?
Keener than I am.
Is the boat ramp working, or are they using the club one at the moment?
They were using both. But,
we put some money into fixing that up.
And I reckon that's really fixed because I heard that I heard that all the pontoons were wrecked and all that. They were all working and the boat ramp was operational. There was 2 lanes going, 2 boats. It was all looking pretty good. So it must have been a pretty quick get onto that if it's broken, because Bullamero is an important fishery.
And the great thing, even on those rough days, I mean, the fish are down deep. The guys are out there. They're trolling for them, and they're still they're catching great fish. Even though they're getting rained on and it's really rough, they're still catching fantastic fish. So it's awesome.
Now, folks, let's have a look at what's being caught by the people at home. It's time for Catch of the Week.
Catch of the Week, brought to you by Shimano, providing reliable, trustworthy, quality fishing gear for your enjoyment.
And I tell you, a lot of people saying, when is the snapper season about to start? Because that run that we do get through August should be in the bay now. Those people that love to get out on the bay and go, I've got the first snapper of the season. That hasn't happened because there hasn't been one single day to get out on the bay. But I tell you what, there's been some cracking land-based snapper caught. And have a look at this one. David Riddell, he got a beautiful snapper off Port Melbourne.
Oh, that's a big fish.
He got that off the shore. That one.
Yeah.
That's a big fish.
Yeah. Oh, well, I guess it wouldn't be from the Footscray market.
that is a cracker.
Yeah, that's a great fish. Have a look at the next one, though. Mithat Boyak. I think I've said that right. Now, there's actually a video of him catching that fish up on social media, and it's a cracking fish as well. Now, I think that might be near the warmies there. So, obviously, some good fish right up the northern end of the bay where it's a little bit warmer.
Yep.
Perhaps the 4 million... Well, the 4 million tailor that are hovering up in the entrance
Might
of the
have
area might have
something
something
to
to
do
do
with it
with
as
well.
why the snapper up there. But I mean, that fish was. You have a look at his rig, 12-foot surf rod. The old star sinker. You'd think he's at Gunnamatta, but he's catching a snapper like that. So
I love saying that too with people fishing those spots. You know, like so much effort we put into people going out in boats with all the best gear and all the rest of it. But there are so many Victorian fishers that just fish off the bank and they go there day in, day out. And I love to see those rewards.
Fish off the bank.
Let's stick with the land-based and Venus Bay. I think it was a hotspot last week, boys, for salmon. Have a look at the size of the salmon, and that's probably one of the small ones because there was some other fish that he had in the photos, but that was the best photo. But Mark Otten, well done. An absolutely cracking salmon.
And
off
Mark's
Venus
had a
Bay.
great season down at Venus Bay. He's been sending a heap of reports to us over the last few weeks as we've been off air as well. So it's been a great season down at Venus Bay.
Absolutely. Let's head east, and Lake Tyers is always a favourite spot for the big dusky flathead, but at winter time, it's always a good place for the brim as well, and a 37.5 centimetre brim.
Brim boat?
Yeah.
That's a nice, healthy looking
Yeah,
fish,
it is, isn't it?
looks
35 years old.
Looks bigger than that.
Absolutely. Looks 40 plus, doesn't
Yeah,
it? You
40.
look at that. I'd be
Great
claiming
fish.
40
plus
if I
years
got
old.
that.
Yeah. I reckon he's been eating the same restaurant as us, boys. Sucking the guts in a little bit tonight, but anyway. Sticking down with the Gippsland Lakes areas, and the Nicholson River produced some good fish for the Western Port Angling Club, boys. And young Taj Rizzotti, maybe. He got a 1.396 kilo brim out of the Nicholson River. Some good fish caught out of the Nico the weekend before last.
Yeah.
So now we're going to talk about the Gippsland Lakes later, Trev, because it is not all trophy fish coming out of there. In fact, a lot of areas there's no fish coming out there. We are questioning you later about that.
There's plenty of fish.
Yeah, we're going to talk to you about later. But old Don Newman sent in this photo. Now, Donnie was down there with the Western Port Angling Club, and Don, very, very close to his 94th birthday, and he only shaved 2 days before the photo. He got a lovely carp in Clifton Creek, which is out the back of Bairnsdale, boys. So lovely carp.
It's a rare species, surely.
Did Donnie forget that it was a brim comp?
He come last. The other one, boys, it's a little bit topical because we saw this lake absolutely thrive about 6 or 7 years ago. And I don't know much about it, Trav, but I'd love to hear your opinion on this. But this is John, and he got a 2.94 kilo trout at Lake Bolac. Has Bolac now, the trout, reached that football size again that they did 6 or 7 years ago?
Absolutely. And the great thing about Bolac is that it's one of these lakes that when it sort of gets low and empties, you might have a season or two off, but as soon as it starts filling up, it gets all this gudgeon and smelt in there. And I saw amazing photos from our fishery staff the other day. It was a Lake Eildon trout. It was a lovely trout. It was about 45 centimetres. It was pretty thin like that. 45 centimetre Lake Bolac trout is like that. You're talking about a 2.5 kilo fish compared to a 3 kilo fish.
It was dry. When was that? It was dry in recent times.
Yeah, it went. We actually had to move some estuary perch that we'd stocked into there, so we had to move them, translocate them to other lakes because it dropped really low. That was only a couple of years ago.
That's right.
It refilled again, and we're seeing at Lake Bolac, and I really encourage people to get out there.
So would you have stocked that trout as a new fish because it wouldn't have survived that drought?
No,
period?
absolutely new fish, and we stock it each year.
Purpose, didn't you?
And that's right. Yeah, we did.
Well, they didn't do it by accident.
Well, no, exactly.
Wouldn't be by accident.
Yeah, Lake Colac's another story. But what you'll see, is when we put fish into that lake, they grow so quick, so big.
That's right.
It's quite amazing, and it's an amazing fish.
How long will those fish last?
In there, well, it depends again on what the weather conditions do. So that lake gets really low.
I reckon it's got 8 years of rainfall last weekend.
Well, that's right.
That's best case
If the temperature gets up to 23, 24 degrees, we'll lose them. But if it keeps a good water level, they'll be there for a few years.
Yeah, there you go. I should remind people, if you'd like to send in a pic of your catch of the week, this is what you have to do.
If you want to be like me and have your photo on TV, email your fishing pic to info@ifish.com.au.
Yeah, I wanna go fishing.
Just looking at the list of things, Travis, that we're going to talk to you about.
Sure.
Let's preview at home. We're going to talk about trout opening. We're going to talk about a northeastern Victoria fish hatchery, because we need to do something. There's some reasons why, folks. Target 1 million's been a big thing for 4 years nearly now, and we need to talk about that. Southern bluefin tuna, the commercial catch of black brim in Gippsland Lakes. I want to talk about that. The Talk Wild Trout Conference, boys. I think We all missed it this year.
Yep.
Because they
I was there.
Because they moved
I
it.
went to it.
moved it close at home, and we all missed it. So, and Barramundi and Hazelwood Plus. Last night on our social media, we asked for you to send in some questions to Travis, and we've got about 100 to get through. So lots to talk about. Yeah. But up next, fisheries news right after this.
Talking fishing.
We know what you'd rather be doing.
We know what you've really got in mind.
We know you'd rather be out fishing. And today's the day you're gonna wet a line. 'Cause every day's a good day.
Stop wishing.
Every day's a chance to drift away. Drift away.
Every day's a good day for fishing. See it down and tackle world today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing. We're talking fishing.
Live from the studios of Channel 31 Melbourne, it's now time for some very fishy news.
Alrighty, a big news week this week, and we have the CEO of the Victorian Fisheries Authority, Travis Dowling, with us. Trav,
Well, it's great to be here.
we got some questions for you. I tell you what,
Fantastic. Looking forward to
let's
it.
kick it off with the general news that has been broadcast this week from Fisheries, and the first one, the headline is 13 Fish call helps abalone seizure at a grocery store. Now, we've got a photo of this as I go on, but a member of the public. Their phone call to the 13 Fish line has alerted fisheries officers to a Sunshine North grocery store, allegedly unlawfully offering for sale more than 300 abalone. I don't know if that's they wouldn't be selling it off the floor.
Oh,
No, they'd be in fridges or something.
Yes.
VFA Director of Enforcement and Education Ian Parks said the abalone was seized by officers and the store owner has been interviewed and will be charged on summons. Among the seized seafood were 5 small unlabelled bags containing 257 individual abalone. And in addition, officers seized 13 individually quick frozen black lip abalone that were unlabelled and 36 individually quick frozen abalone with false labels. That's a fair haul.
It's a big haul, and I've got to say it's a massive I suppose, support for our 13 Fish call number, because we would never have picked this up if it wasn't for members of the community seeing something and going, that doesn't look really right. And credit to our, to the education and enforcement officers within fisheries who acted on it really quickly and did that. And abalone, when you do strip reefs of them, they, it's very hard for them to come back very quickly. So it was really fantastic effort.
When's it going to stop? Because we have a bit of a joke on this show. That
talk English, probably.
Trelly, we have a bit of a joke that there's abalone open season and then there's poaching season. It's kind of like the two seasons, and we think that you should print in the guide when poaching season starts and when it finishes. So,
there is no poaching season.
In all seriousness, it's never ending, isn't it?
No, it is, but that's one of the things when you've got an intertidal species that is easy to get at, that's closer to shore, that's highly valued. So we'll continue to work on making sure that people don't take more than they should or take them out of season. And we've got a great abalone fisher in Victoria, and I think it's working at the moment, which is great.
Yeah, cool. Let's move on. And the next one, hook, line and sinker on research and education is the headline. 6 projects funded by the fishing licence fees have been announced, and they'll all benefit salt and freshwater fisheries in south-west Victoria and children's education across the state. 4 projects are research focused and will provide information to better manage target species. The other 2 will see new fish habitat and fishing access created on the Merry River, and a mobile app developed that will teach kids across Victoria about responsible fishing. So let's have a look at the list. These 6 are pretty good. First one, Dr. Julian Pepperell. Many people would know him for doing some work for Future Fish Foundation and VR Fish on netting many years ago. But he's an expert fisheries scientist, and he'll receive $56,000 to employ citizen science that will provide more information about the age structure and movements of southern bluefin tuna. That's not a bad one to study, Trav.
It's an absolutely fantastic one because for us with tuna, it's all about the science. They're an international species. They're a really high value species. You get people travelling from all over Australia to fish at Portland and Warrnambool. The more we know about our tuna, the more science we have in relation to our fishery, the more that we can manage that so that we have the fishery we've got today, tomorrow, which is what we're really aiming to do.
Those tuna, they've got a cycle as far as a worldwide cycle, the ones we see here?
Yeah, absolutely. They, you know, they head up the Australian coast, they head all the way through. You know, they catch them off New Zealand, they catch them off South Africa.
So,
But there's a bit of information that I don't think people go, where do the Victorians ones go? And then that group that come off Bermagui that are bigger fish, where do they go? So this is all about tracking their movements and that age structure. So where are the Victorian ones from?
But shouldn't there be a, like we've got a catch limit. Some of these other countries, have they got catch limits?
Yeah, no, it's an internationally managed species. So like Japan, New Zealand, South Africa have all got catch limits, and Australia's got a catch limit, and we're working with the Commonwealth at the moment to make sure that we can continue to have a really strong tuna
Otherwise
fishery.
we're penalised as far as a country.
That's right, absolutely.
Let's keep moving along. Deakin University will receive $34,480 to establish a Southern River blackfish spawning and recruitment monitoring network in the Gellibrand River catchment. This project will provide new information on a treasured native fish species and how the population can be bolstered.
Yeah, and I reckon this is a wonderful project. And for people out there that mightn't have ever caught a blackfish, they're a beautiful fish. They get to a kilo in size in the Gellibrand and basically around the Otways. And one of the things that we're trying to do at fisheries is say, blokes will talk about, oh, my dad used to catch these, or my uncle used to catch them. We're saying, species like blackfish, macquarie, perch, trout cod, we want to have what, for our children and for the next generations, as good a fisheries as were there 2 generations ago.
Are there species we can breed, like at Snobs Creek, and we can...
Well, there's actually a bloke doing a lot of really good work off his own bat. He's a farmer, and he's basically put in ponds because he's absolutely in love with this species. And we're, in years gone by, we might have said, oh, hang on, mate, you can't be doing that. We've actually gone along and said, we love what you're doing, mate. We're going to work with you because we really want to see these fish come back as a great fishery.
Can I just say that the Gellibrand River, when I crossed over it on Sunday,
a
it
lot
was
of water.
100 metres wide, so maybe put that project off for 6 months because I think the blackfish are about 20 kilometres off Torquay.
Yeah, they're probably they're in Bass Strait.
VR Fish will get $24,000 for a pilot research project on striped trumpeter in Victorian waters that will provide further insights on the fishery and how it can be sustainably managed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there'll be probably a lot of your viewers out there today that love trumpeter. It's one of these species
beautiful
that,
eating.
that people just, it's their fish, and which is it'll be a great project.
I'll just rattle through
panko crumbs,
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
I'll just rattle through the next. The Glenelg Hopkins Catchment Management Authority will receive $13,000 to create a fish habitat hotspot on a 400-metre stretch of the Merrow River. Fish Care Victoria will be provided $107,000 to develop a Get Hooked on Fishing mobile app with innovative digital content that complements curriculum-based learning to teach children about responsible fishing, and $205,000 will be used by the Victorian Fisheries Authority scientists to study the movement and post-release survival of gummy and short fin mako sharks. Corey Green doing that work?
Yeah, absolutely. And we did some social media on that today. So those that are really into their fisheries news, jump onto our social media posts, Facebook and Instagram. But we covered that today. It's great. It's a great project.
I've got something just here, boys. I'm going to hand those around. Have a look at those. Sorry about that. We're well organised here tonight. The next one is, have your say on bold new fish production and stocking plan. The recreational anglers and the community are being encouraged to have their say on a bold 10-year draft plan, that's the one here, to boost Victoria's freshwater fisheries. Labor Upper House member for Northern Victoria, Jacqueline Symes, said the draft plan titled Revolutionising Fish Production and Stocking in Victoria will build on our thriving inland fisheries and rebuild threatened native fish populations. The draft plan aims to make fishing in Victoria even better tomorrow than it is today. This is a pretty good plan.
I've got to say, this is bold, this plan, and I think some staff at Fisheries had sort of heart attacks when we were putting some of these numbers down. But if you're a freshwater or inland fisher in Victoria and you look at this, you'd be pretty excited about it. And what I love about it, at the front of it, it says, "We grow your fish," because ultimately, all these fish are, they're for rec fishers and families and communities. But there's some stuff in here that if we can deliver on this, it will be huge.
Basically, the plan is designed to, and we've got a few slides on this, safeguard the supply of stocked fish, recover threatened fish species, grow more fish and create more fishing opportunities, smarter stocking and recreational fishing engagement. So there you go. The plan includes a major new effort to bring back Macquarie perch and trout cod fisheries and capitalises on the state government's record $46 million investment in Target 1 million, which is getting more people fishing more often. There you go. Now, social media, website, all that stuff, have a good read of that, because this is going to set out, and I know you can't see that from there, it sets out the next 2 years, about 10 years, about how fish stocking could be in Victoria. Have your say on it. Trav, something that's planned for about 2 weeks' time, the opening of trout season. You're trying to make it the biggest trout opening in decades.
Yeah, and look,
Tell us about it.
I'm incredibly excited about this. So basically what we're doing on trout opening this year, we're having festivals in Ballarat and Eildon. We did that last year, but we're doing something different this year. We're putting 7 tonnes of trout, 7 tonnes of trout into the Goulburn River in the days leading up to the trout opening on the 1st of September. And these are 3 to 4 kilo or 10 pound in the old scale trout. What we want to see is back in the 50s and 60s when there were 50 or 100 cars lined up along the banks of the Goulburn. We want people out there. It's not everyone's cup of tea. There are a lot of people out there that'll go, why would I catch a fish that's 6 or 7 or 8, 10 pound that's lived in a hatchery all its life?
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. But for kids and for mums and dads and for a lot of people, to catch a fish like that is the experience of a lifetime. And we think it will be one of the best things for fishing in
and a
many
great
years.
opportunity. I mean, they've got all the opportunity to do it, haven't they?
Absolutely. And the Goulburn's, from Alexandra all the way to Molesworth or Seymour, you can fish it anywhere along there, get in and get your own patch and catch a 10 pound fish. It's
a lot of
amazing.
access points.
Absolutely. It'll be huge.
I'm just reading some of the information on this. 2,000 massive trout will be stocked at 11 family-friendly sites near Eildon. That's pretty good. All the info, have a look on fisheries, VFA's social media. I think it's out on there. So, but it is a big thing, and we should see record numbers of people up around that Eildon area. You also hold a festival at Ballarat.
Yeah, at Wendouree at Ballarat. So on the Saturday there'll be a festival at the Eildon Pondage, and there's big fish going to the Eildon Pondage. There'll be a festival at Ballarat at Wendouree. There's big fish going in there, and there'll also be fish stocked all along the Goulburn River. Plenty of spots to go.
Plenty of water at Ballarat too at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's crystal clear in Wendouree. It's a cracking lake.
It is. It's a ripper.
Yeah.
Plenty more to talk about. We've got product of the week coming up next, but we want to talk about why we need a new native fish hatchery in Victoria straight after this.
Talking fishing.
Good morning, spotters. Stephanie speaking.
Product of the week, brought to you by Tackle World.
Talking fishing.
And tonight we are joined by the CEO of the Victorian Fisheries Authority, Travis Dowling. Welcome, Trav.
Yeah, it's
If
great.
People that have just tuned in.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Plenty of questions to come,
Absolutely.
but Ad, you're going to light up our life with some products of the week.
I am. Optia, being the innovative brand that they are, have noticed things going on in the fishing industry. The sword fishing thing's been a huge thing. We've covered it on the show over the last 12 to 18 months, and a big part of that fishery is a strobe light, which is a water-activated light which actually attracts fish. Now, Optia, like I said, being the innovative company that they are, they have released smaller versions, just like this, okay? These are designed, look, I've got a bit of water here, just before we got that there. Look, as soon as you pop it in water, it starts flashing.
Wow.
Look at that.
So there's 4 different colours, white, green,
Dunk that
red.
down a bit deeper so that
There we
people at
go.
home can see it.
Well,
Turn it around a bit.
You can see that
you
flashing
go.
away there.
Yeah.
Now, in these ones particularly that I want to focus on, there's 2 different sizes. There's the tiny little teardrop one, which can be used in front of lures. squid jigs, bits and pieces, and then there's the big one there, which is going to be a favourite amongst the bait fishermen and trolling guys. And I've actually got a few examples of here on how you can use them. We got pretty excited when these came into the store because we haven't had a product like this for a long, long time. So to tinker and play and see how we can use them got a little bit exciting. This is one of my favourites. Last week we covered garfish, Dave. This is actually your garfish float. Then tied to a tiny dropper is your little strobe light. Okay, so now through many species, lights attract fish. We know it. Squid, garfish, you go to a pier of a night time, you want to catch gars. That's right. You go under the
How heavy is that?
Well, that weighs about 3 grams.
About the same as a bit of split shot
Yeah,
in your garfish rig.
We tested this. We've actually got a tank at Tackle World Cranbourne with trout in it. We tested this, and it actually weights this float perfectly. And I'll tell you what, old mate Trout didn't mind the flashing lights either. So that's the garfish rig. This is going to be huge. I think this is probably the best application for it.
Something you may do, yeah.
We use teasers.
Is that a Tassie Devil?
It's a Tassie Devil. So we use teasers in front of Tassies quite
Like a
regularly.
Ford Fender or
That's
a
right.
Cowbells or something.
Now
it's gonna
it
flash.
flashes.
Yeah, absolutely.
That on a downrigger in Lake Bull and Marai
Dynamite.
or Eildon
go.
has got big trout written all over it.
Did you put a hook on that?
You probably could, you know. You probably could. A little assist or something off that.
That's your stinger.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
This is going to be huge come snapper season. Here is your Instinct Snapper Snatcher. We've spoken about those before. A couple of circle hooks and the feathers there. But now with the strobe light at the top. Just hang that over the side, let it do its thing. You don't have to worry about it, and it'll bring the fish to you. So you've got glow beads, feathers, bait, and a strobe light. That's going to be a winner for the snapper and deep sea market, no matter where you are in the country. Check out this little beauty, Dave.
Hello.
No way.
Have a look at that.
Dallas De Silva would love that.
Have a look at that.
He's going to buy 100.
When you're out in the
I reckon.
That's it. When you're out in the boat or the kayak, as I am, you always have the little sleeper squid jig out the back. Now, with a little Palomar knot, you can directly tie your little strobe light to the front of that. There is not going to be a squid in the water that will resist that little light there. So, this, like I said
you
at the
could
start,
almost do that glass of water at a disco too. Like, have a look at that.
Does size matter?
Size, well, size doesn't matter, Charlie. No, it doesn't matter. But this is a little bit exciting because we can play. We can have a little bit of a muck around, and I cannot wait for the wind to stop blowing so we can start trying some of these. Because whether it's salt water in the deep, whether it's fresh water, these
Natives, redfin
fish.
trout, everything would take that.
Everything
Amazing.
in some way, shape or form is attracted to the flashing lights. Now we can take the flashing lights to them and improve our catches.
I reckon
That's going to be really cool.
like these traps.
Oh, yeah, Dad would.
He's still doing a bit of fishing.
Well, yeah, Dad would have probably liked them off the end of springers, but that we
he's
we
still a
don't
bit
do that
poaching.
anymore. No, doesn't do that. No.
I reckon even travel catch a fish on this. But anyway, we must move on. Well done, ads. Great product.
They're going to be cool, I think.
Get them in the shops
excited about
tomorrow
those
if you
ones.
want them. Target 1 Million's been a big program. If you haven't watched this show before, it's a big program that aims to get 1 million people in Victoria fishing each year, and it's a big program that has rolled out. Let's have a look at a bit of a video of what's happened over the last 4 years. It's happened in the last 4 years, hasn't it?
I love watching that video. It's fantastic seeing all that stuff.
I mean, there's a lot there for the people at home to understand. But can I just rattle off a couple of things coming up in the next few weeks? Chloe Malloy from the Collingwood AFL women's club She's the ambassador for Women in Rec Fishing
Lovely
Network.
person.
She'll be on the show
Yeah.
with one of the other girls, Sky, in about 2 weeks' time. Jarla Pulford, the minister. We're gonna tick off Jarla's list because a lot of that was in that video. There.
I think that was it, wasn't it?
Yeah. So Jarla will be on a few weeks' time, and then maybe someone special in November to announce the fishing. So yeah,
Above
that might
most
happen.
people.
No, that might happen. But let's talk about a few things,
Sure.
Travis. There is a desperate need, and we showed that the plan for revolutionising stocking. One of the things in there is a discussion about the need for a native fish hatchery, because what's happened is you've got Snobs Creek, which was built 70 years ago.
That's right. Yeah, we
so
just had the 70th anniversary actually, which was a great day there.
really built for the salmonids, the trout, and that. And now it's producing golden perch and Murray cod, but a lot of those fish are bought from New South Wales.
That's right. Yeah.
What's happening in New South Wales is those hatcheries, well, one of them at least, has been bought by a Chinese company, and they are now producing those fish to be sent overseas for, to feed people. So that stock that you would rely on to probably stock Victorian waters from New South Wales could go overseas as food. And so all of a sudden, there's a bit of competition for those fish. And there's another 4 or 5 hatcheries that are in the same boat. They're certainly being looked at by Chinese companies to buy. So, and that's the way it is. If you're going to deal with the private sector, that's the way it is. So to secure the amount of fish that Victoria needs to stock, and if you want to grow it, there really needs to be a second hatchery built in Victoria, maybe in warmer climate, where it's a bit more successful for native fish,
Look, it's a really good discussion to have. A number of years ago, we were stocking 700,000 fish a year in Victoria. This year, we stocked 6 million. And we haven't changed the size classes or cut any corners. We've just, we've basically, 10 times the amount of fish are now being stocked, which is what we know. They're moving the carp and the redfin aside, and the stunted redfin, and so you're getting really good fisheries for trout, for cod, for yellows, and all the rest of it. We also know that New South Wales fisheries themselves, the competition now to buy fish from that limited hatcheries is getting more and more as we've got overseas interest. So we think in the coming years that we can do more at Snobs Creek with species like trout and chinook salmon, but also rebuilding like trout, cod, macquarie, perch, and even some of the small-bodied natives. So barred galaxiids and dwarf galaxiids and smelt and gudgeon. We can start really growing all of those at Snobs Creek as well as trout, some limited natives, but possibly looking at, in the future, a second hatchery in warmer climate, 23, 24 degrees, where we can be self-reliant on Murray cod and golden perch. It means jobs in Victoria, and it means investment in Victoria.
Because a few of these hatcheries in New South Wales, they're like Narrandera and places in warmer climate. They must be very successful.
Yeah, that's right, absolutely. But also, we're spending millions of dollars each year in New South Wales when we've got a lot of space up around Shepparton, Inglewood, really basically towards northwestern Victoria, where we could actually have our own hatchery, a lot of land up there, and we wouldn't be reliant on market forces. But the other thing is we'd probably provide 15 or 20 jobs in Victoria, and we'd know we'd be self-sufficient. So it's certainly something we're looking at.
So how do you go? Like you're dealing with Murray cod, where you've got a certain temperature of water, and above Eildon's cold. Below Eildon, it comes out the bottom. It's very cold. It's like about 9 or 10 degrees. So Shepparton's probably a prime area because it's water for one reason. And all those type of things.
So having a water supply, having the land, the space to do it, and having that good temperature. But we've gone from producing 90,000 Murray cod a year at Snobs to 600,000 by improving some of our practices.
Absolutely amazing.
If we had more room and more space, and it is something we're going to work on and make some plans towards, that would be a great thing.
Steve Vittler to work a bit harder.
Steve's a champion, and I want to say also, in terms of that revolutionising stocking plan, Anthony Forster, our freshwater manager, has slaved over that. He's worked with a lot of people, including yourself, Dave, on that, and it's a really bold plan. It's great to have.
Plenty to talk about still, but up next, Kramer's mailbag, and we got some questions for Trav, I can tell you. Up next on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
We know what you'd rather be doing.
We know what you've really got in mind.
We know you'd rather be out fishing. And today's the day you're gonna wet a line. 'Cause every day's a good day.
Stop wishing.
Every day's a chance to drift away. Drift away.
Every day's a good day for fishing. See it down and tackle world today.
Talking talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
All right, something different for Kramer's mailbag tonight. Last night we put out a post on our social media saying, have you got questions for Trav? Bang, we're going to go with every question. Want quick answers? Kick it off. Go.
Okay, Archie Torre wants to know any chance of lifting the pinky size limit to 32 centimetres in Victoria?
No, we've just got...
Sweet. 10 seconds, why?
There's lots of snapper. We've just bought out the netting from Port Phillip Bay, and we've had the best ever recruitment we've ever had on record.
Yep.
There's more snapper you can poke a stick at.
Yep.
All right. George Garland, tell him to keep up the good work.
That's not a question.
That's a cracker.
No,
you missed the brief there.
No, don't waste time on that stuff. Why is the water level, we're over here, why is the water level at Bostock dropping, yet all this rain, no fish to be seen or caught? Where the hell's Bostock?
Yeah, it's up near Bendigo.
Yeah.
And I fished it recently and I didn't catch a fish either, so I do.
Well, that's not unusual.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Okay, why aren't there any fish?
Look, we stock it, so it's...
Why is the water level dropping?
Yeah, good question. Not enough rain.
Next one. I recently heard that New South Wales have implemented marine zones along the coast. I heard that too. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Is this therefore likely to occur in Victoria?
No, there's a government election policy, no more new marine parks in Victoria. It is policy. And I've got no indication it's going to change at all.
Sweet.
Okay.
Big time. Leah Libreri would like to know, are they going to build a floating jetty at the new boat ramp at Lake Eildon? It's hard for larger fiberglass boats to pick up passengers without damaging the hull on the rocks when having to beach the front of the boat.
I think it's a fantastic idea, and if we can make access and launching easier, that's absolutely something.
I think one of the problems at Lake Eildon, though, is that you've got such a fluctuation in water level that floating pontoon would have to probably be 100 metres long.
Well,
and when it's dropped, it might be uncomfortable.
Sweet, let's make it 200 metres long.
Charlie?
All right. Jason Burrows, is the pondage at Eildon going to stay at the steel level, as the fish have been off the bite since the water level has been all over the place? Now, I know you've probably got a lot of different stakeholders with water, but it's up and down, up and down. It's like a 90 broads.
Yeah. Quick answer, be there on the 1st September for trout opening. It's full of trout.
Yeah.
And
you do very well.
Jason Burrows, thanks for that, mate, but work harder. Get fish, doesn't matter. Don't worry about water levels. Peter Huon, if the rivers in the Gippy Lakes flood, the fish would go into the nets and make the issue worse. When the rivers flood, the fish follow the edges of the lake to escape the freshwater flow. They swim straight into the waiting nets who are on the edge to escape the debris deluge. The flood years show clearly in the statistics of increased catches. So basically, after all that, can we ban the netting at flood times?
Yeah. So we're not going to do that, but we do recognise that there are more fish caught during flood periods than when it's dry, and that's the nature of fish. Yep.
Especially bream.
That's right. Particularly bream and move out of the rivers.
All right. Marty Watkins. Fast track netters buyout in Port Phillip Bay. Now, I think we've probably covered all that, haven't we?
Yeah. No, there's still
a few there.
There's still 10 going.
No, there's 9.
Okay, and they're putting up some pretty good social media posts about how much King George whiting they're killing, Travis.
Yeah,
they are.
Right.
No, I've seen that. The netters are actually taking to social media to show their slaughters of King George whiting.
Yeah,
I don't reckon it's on. Can we fast track the buyout?
Well, I'd say
10
34 of 43 licences have been bought out, and it's been a pretty fair compensation package to those who have gone.
Yeah.
There's 9 left in there. And the catches of King George whiting and snapper compared to what there were when there was 43 netters is something like 15 to 20% of what it was. Like, it's right down. So 80% more fish now than there were 2 years ago.
Great answer. Damien writes to us, Barramundi, there's no size or bag limit. Why? According to the Victorian Fisheries website and the Victorian Recreational Fishing Guide and stickers, barramundi don't exist and are not even mentioned. And yet they've been in Victorian waters for several years now, Travis.
They have, and they are acclimatised and they are Victorians now. The barra that are here, or they've made it through winter and they're doing well, and we know there's still a lot of them down in Hazelwood.
Yep.
It's a good point. I'll check on our comms. Ainsley, I'm looking at you. We'll look at our comms and what we've got in the guides. But there is a 1 fish bag. There is no minimum size limit. And we know, we tested the last couple of weeks, there are 85 centimetres in the pondage, and there's a lot of them there. Come summer, get down to the Hazelwood pondage and have a crack at them.
Good news.
Alrighty, a couple more here. Can we stock the Tarago River downstream from the reservoir as its numbers are well down from recent years?
Vic fish stock meetings are starting this week, so do speak to your local angling club and others and put into that, and we'll look at stocking fish wherever we can across the state.
And lucky last, do Victorian Fisheries and have any upcoming plans for works or stocking on the Yarra River?
Oh, the Yarra River is a really interesting one, which I know I've got very limited time. We're not going to stock it at the moment because it's got a really good population of cod and maccas in there, and the upper parts of the Yarra around Warrandyte and moving further out have got really good trout. It's a pretty good wild fishery at the moment that looks after itself, so no stocking plans there at the moment.
There you go. If you'd like to write into Kramer's Mailbag, which is the normal way to get in contact with us, this is what you have to do.
Send your mail to Kramer's Mailbag, PO Box 734, Patterson Lakes, Victoria 3197, or email kramer@ifish.com.au.
And there you go. For the first time in 134 episodes, boys, we've spelt Patterson Lakes right. As a view pointed out last week, 134 episodes that we spelt Patterson with one T. It's now been fixed. Now, Travis, I've got to get serious with you. The commercial catch rate of black brim in the Gippsland Lakes, the recent data that's been on a few social media networks and so forth is saying about 12.9 tonne.
That's right.
That has reduced from hundreds of tonnes in the past. I think 30-something tonne last year. Do fisheries have an obligation to act on that? Do something about it, to tighten bags, tighten sizes, do something about commercial fishing in there, because it's not a good picture that's being uncovered.
No, and I'm in Lakes Entrance tomorrow night, and I'm speaking at the angling club there, and certainly there's the concerns that have been raised. We're seeing a drop-off in catch limits at the moment. I will say, and this will be unpopular with a lot of people, we have seen that before in drought conditions through the millennial drought. The Fisheries Victoria position, or the Victorian Fisheries Authority position at the moment is we're going to continue to monitor the fishery and do further work on it. I know there is rec fishers are concerned also about the catch, not just the commercial catch, but about bag and size limits. So it's certainly a space that we're looking at. I'm not in a position at the moment to basically provide any more answers on that, but it is a fishery we're closely looking at, from both the rec and commercial catch in terms of how the fishery is performing.
Would you consider, and I know you're not going to be able to answer this, but would you consider a different bag size slot limit just for the Gippsland Lakes? Because you don't normally do that for a single waterway on a species. You like to have a statewide regulation. Would you consider something just for the Gippsland Lakes to help recover that situation?
Well, the one thing I'd like to say is that we will always be open-minded to regs that work for fishers. And if you look at the open season when I say open season, but no closed season on cod in Lake Eildon, that's a classic example of that. So we will be specific to waterways if we know that there is science and evidence to back up that fishery and how it might work. So absolutely we'd be open-minded to that. We do like consistent rules, it makes it easier for people, but if there is a really compelling argument about a particular waterway, keeping the trout rivers open in southwest Victoria during the Hopkins and the Mirai. So absolutely, it's something that we would look at in terms of will this work for that waterway.
We could spend an hour just on that subject, but we haven't got an hour left. Next, hotspots. We've still got to cover southern bluefin tuna. We've still got to cover barramundi and Hazelwood pondage. We'll get to them straight after this.
Talking fishing.
G'day, Callan here from Paul Worsland's Tackle World Cranbourne.
Supercharged batteries have been supplying maintenance-free marine batteries since 2001. The Seamaster Gold range is second to none, delivering superior starting power and reserve capacity. No need to top up with water, truly a fit and forget battery. With up to 2 years replacement warranty, you know you have quality. Your battery is your lifeline. Without it, you're dead in the water because it's bloody hard to push start.
I've got a Seamaster battery in my boat.
Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And now the segment you've all been waiting for.
Hotspots, brought to you by Seamaster Batteries. Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
I'll tell you what, boys, we are finally cracking it for some good weather.
Just hang on a sec. Sorry for interrupting. In the ad break, I was just reading through some of the questions we didn't get to, and there was one that was way too important to skim over, so I'm going to quickly butt in. For Trav. Yeah. Mark Petit would like to know, can Trelly's internet report be posted on a Friday, please?
Jeez, I'm not. Yes.
I've been telling you to do that for years.
Absolutely.
You are totally random.
Yeah, we ask the hard questions.
That's because Thursday nights are thirsty Thursday. So.
And it depends how you wake up on a Friday, so when it gets out on a Friday or a Saturday.
So there you go, Mark. I don't like your chances of a Friday fishing report.
Yes, we will.
Yes, we will.
That's a serious Victorian Fisheries Authority issue, that one. Hotspots. But what I was saying is that the weather is finally coming good. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, calm days on the bay, very slight northerlies. People will go nuts.
Yep.
So let's kick it off with the first one, and God, I hope it hasn't been netted. St. Leonard's King. No, seriously, because they are putting on their social media all these King George whiting.
And we're telling them hotspots.
I know. Anyway, get there before the nets get there. St. Leonard's, King George whiting. It's about the only place you can catch them at the moment. I don't know why, but anyway.
Netters are listening.
Yeah. Over to Blair Gowrie. It's the capital of calamari at the moment. Some big ones around the sisters. Nothing more to say. 3 metres of water, white jig or green jig.
Put a little glowing, flashing light.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, I think that will change the night fishing.
Yeah, definitely.
And particularly off the piers, that you can...
Off the piers.
Off the piers.
Need to get off the piers a little bit. Let's head over to Western Port, and the Tyre Bank is the capital of Western Port for calamari as well, and I think we'll see some monsters starting to get caught in Western Port because Western Port's been left alone for a number of weeks now because of the weather.
Yeah.
There are going to be some monsters sitting
on. It's had a real good flush out. That'll be prime typing. Yep.
If you want to try your hand at King George whiting on the middle spit, I would say that's the go as well. Try the top end of the middle spit. And we haven't played this video yet, but Rex takes out Basher Hooley.
Oh, that's a cracker. That is a
now, that wasn't filmed that long ago, and Rex has got a pretty good spot. You can see the middle spit in the background.
Absolutely.
And he knows where the whiting are, so there are whiting on the middle spit, I can tell you. Yeah. We'll show that video in the next week or two.
Oh, it's a cracker. It's fantastic.
Let's head to the west of the state, and if you want your chance to catch a Chinook salmon, there is no other place than Lake Bullamera because they're only stocked in 1 or 2 waters. But get out there because...
Rocky Valley up past Falls Creek, we put them in up there now too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're going all right up there?
Well, we haven't seen any come out yet. We put it in there.
Land-based or boat?
Land-based. Yeah, right, just above Falls Creek
Resort. This time of year, record snowfalls, is probably ice skating.
So when the snow melts and you head up there and you want to look for something to do in summer, you head up the top and there's no snow there.
Is that right?
Yeah, we put Chinooks in there.
There you go.
So if you catch one, let us know.
Write that down.
The occasional one gets caught in the channels around Ranga Basin too.
Is that right?
Yeah, in Ranga Basin. Yeah.
Where would they come from?
Oh, I don't know. Ask Travis that.
Yeah. Some brook trout and river as well.
And lucky last, if you want to head to the east of the state, winter is brim time. Lake Tyers. There are some fantastic brim coming out of Lake Tyers.
Yep. 5 away.
I reckon almost they're that thick that you could almost catch them. Anyway, you're going to lakes tomorrow. I bet you do some research the following day. I'm on to you. And I'll tell you what. All right, let's get on to a couple of other topics we want to touch base with you. Southern bluefin tuna.
Yeah.
We see again. I know you're not going to be able to answer this. We see again in a media release by VR Fish, I think it was, that there's been a second letter from Senator Ann Ruston about tightening the bag limits in Victoria of southern bluefin tuna. Do they not get that it's a different size class and that one is not enough?
Yep,
So you can't answer that.
That's a good question. Excellent. So we're working with the Commonwealth constructively on our tuna fishery, and we hope that it continues to operate as it currently does.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That's about as good. No, that is, boys, that is about as good as Malcolm Turnbull. He was not the Prime Minister for 10 minutes today. You know that, and that was about as good as his speech. So, in other words, it's code for, I'll tell you what, the Commonwealth is
coming up.
Yeah, the Commonwealth are coming after our bluefin tuna. There's no doubt about it. So, you guys are doing a good job, but you just can't tell us that you are. Barramundi and Hazelwood Pondage. I'm going to show you a photo of the fish that were electrofished a couple of weeks ago. Kevin, he's going to put this up. Now,
look how fat they are.
Oh,
look at those.
Now, who electrofished them?
Would have been our team, probably with a contractor.
Yeah. So they opened up a couple of fish just to have a look at what they were eating. Shrimp, carp, and some tilapia. So obviously some tilapia have stayed in the system.
There's still some warm water up there coming out of the aquifer. So most of the main part of Hazelwood Pondage, the tilapia are gone from. But this area about the size of 2 football fields, there's still tilapia. And it's lovely to see the shrimp in there as well. I mean, they're a really good sort of canary in the in the mine type thing. Shrimp. If you've got shrimp in there, you've got a pretty healthy system. But those barra now, I mean, they're a couple of winters old. Those barra. So not cold Melbourne weather doesn't scare them. They're Victorian barra now, and come summer they're going to be cracking fish to catch.
They'll spread out as the water temperature.
Absolutely, absolutely they will. At the moment, there's a barra stopping them getting into the main part of the rest of the pondage. But for me as a fisher, who relatively rarely enjoy success, that's right, a smaller body of water with really good access and a lot of barra in there, I'll take every day of the week.
Trav, you can't answer this question, right? But I'm going to ask it anyway. Is there over here, is there any chance that the government could come in and buy Hazelwood back and get it going?
That's an excellent question. That's a really good question.
That's all you're going to say. You're going to compliment us on that.
No, that's a wonderful question. Look, we have done some things at Hazelwood. We are now the leaseholders for the strip of land where people fish for barra. We've worked with Gippsland Water. We've taken that on as an authority. We're also the leaseholders for a strip of land on the Dartmouth Pondage as well. So
sorry, can I just Herald Sun's texting?
So you're going to take over all the boat ramps too.
Great news! You're going to be on the rumour file tomorrow morning. Just letting you know.
Notice I'm not answering. It's a straight face.
No, in all seriousness, Charlie, I'll ask you. Do you think Malcolm Turnbull failed with his national energy guarantee today? I think.
I think he did.
He's going to legislate that he's not. It's going to be regulation, then it's not, and he's.
I'll just head down to the basement.
Do you reckon Malcolm Turnbull could buy back Hazelwood?
I reckon he could have his
If you were
spare
Prime
change.
Minister,
He'd
would
probably
you
drop
buy
that at the bar, I reckon, to buy back the Hazelwood station. Fire it up. He'd probably drop that sort of money at the bar. Into the trough. But,
I'm tempted he's not tonight. Abbott might be.
But hopefully we get the Hazelwood going again and warm that water up.
Trav, seriously, thanks for coming in because it's the end of the show. I know we've done some tough questions with it tonight, but that's it for Talking Fishing. Thank you to Trav. We hope you've enjoyed the show. At last, a run of calm weather starts this Thursday and should run all the way through the weekend. Hopefully a lot of you get out and wet a line. Don't forget to send in your pics if you do get out and wet a line. Until we see you again next Tuesday on Talking Fishing, please stay safe on the water. Enjoy your fishing. Thank you very much, boys, for
Thanks, Dave.
being here tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks,
lads.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing. We're talking fishing. We got all you need, just take a look. Watch those fish jump on your hook. So just relax and take your time. Enjoy the show, then drop us a line. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing. We're talking fishing. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing. We're talking fishing. Talking fishing.
Have a good weekend, Mr. Walker.
You too, son.